Hi, it's Eric Heim. Thanks for clicking on this month's installment of Putting a Face to Daiso. This month, we're here with Scott Walker, and Scott is one of the IT consultants in the data protection team in Daiso. And Scott, we'll start off with some highlights of your career so far here at DuPont.
Thanks, Eric. I've been in DuPont for 23 years. I started in CR&D. Some of the roles I had there was as a research technician doing some chemistry on the old Cray supercomputer, if you remember that. Then I moved into INCT, or as it was known back then, Scientific Computing Division. And for there I was a program manager for several pieces of software. And then I went over to Six Sigma and I achieved my Black Belt certification there. Then I moved over to corporate IT and worked in disaster recovery in Daiso here. And then the past 3 years I've been on the data protection team here, helping protect DuPont's trade secrets.
Very good. If anybody's enjoying these, getting to know Daiso, I am, because I'm learning a lot about my colleagues, some things I didn't know. So thanks for starting us off with that. Okay, Scott, so as a member of the data protection team, can you talk a little bit about the things that you're working on in that role?
Sure. What we do on the data protection team is we help businesses to identify what the electronic aspects of their trade secrets are. For example, which repository is it in, which databases that those documents are in. And then we help to assess the security of those documents and see if there's any electronic exposures that those documents may have. We use a variety of tools to help with the assessment and the protection. We use Digital Guardian, made by Vertasys, which probably many people have heard of lately. And that's an agent that sits on the individual desktop computer or laptop and watches data as it moves back and forth. And then the asset owners of those trade secrets can determine control rules of how that data is supposed to move. For example, not allow a document to be mailed outside the company would be an example. We also use a tool called Information Rights Management, or IRM, which is made by a company called EMC. And that is a way to provide very granular control of documents, individual documents. So you can specify that a certain document can only be opened by certain people, and then those people have very particular access, like they can only read it but not print it or edit it or anything. And then there's traditional controls, such as do they change the password every 90 days, or are they looking at the access control list for their particular folders that those sensitive documents are in. I'm also working on a service called the Risky Behavior Detection Service. And this service takes the data that we collect with Digital Guardian and allows businesses to monitor and view the movement of data across their organizations and gives them a picture of how things and how assets are being utilized. And then finally, I do a lot of testing on software that we come across in DuPont to see how well we can monitor data movement across that. And those are things like SAP and Confluence, and now SharePoint's coming. And we look at that and say, how well can we protect documents that are in those repositories with the software that we have?
Scott, with the third question and our final question, I've been giving our subjects an opportunity to instill some words of wisdom on our audience, maybe some things you might want to get across to them, or maybe be able to help them with, or maybe they can help you with. So anything in that area?
Yeah, one of the tools I mentioned previously was this thing called IRM, or Information Rights Management. So I think it's a really neat tool, so I wanted to tell folks about how it works and where they might be able to use it in their work. So as I said, it stands for Information Rights Management. And the best way to explain it is kind of to use an analogy with Apple's DRM. So, you know, you go through iTunes and you get your music and your video content, TV shows and whatnot. And that's protected with Apple's DRM, or Digital Rights Management. That is, it determines what devices can play their content and then specifies who can use the content. So you can only play it on an iPod or iPhone, and only you are allowed to use that content. You can't share it with me, you can't put it up on the internet for use, that kind of thing. And IRM works very similarly. It allows the DuPont creator of content to specify who can open the document that they protect, what they can do when they open it. Can they read it, edit it, print it, share a screen with it? And then it also allows them to expire the document. So after a certain amount of time, the document can no longer be accessible. So let me give you an example of how this technology is used within DuPont. DuPont has a proprietary process to coat pipes with Teflon, and that process is an SOP, a standard operating procedure. DuPont shares that SOP in the form of a Word document with a third-party partner, somebody who's not a DuPonter. So the DuPonter creates the document, protects it with IRM, sends it off to the partner where only one person, he or she at that employee at that partner, can open that document and then controls what they can do with it. They're only allowed, in this case, to view it. They can't print it, they can't edit it, they can't share it over a web meeting, and they can't copy and paste from it. So it allows a lot of very granular control of a specific document, and in that case, it really helps DuPont keeps its trade secret information very sensitive and well protected. IRM is great for people to create content and want to control who sees it, what they can do with it, and how long it's out in the wild, so to speak.
Wow, that's really good, Scott. So if anybody has any questions about IRM, they can contact you?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. And thanks for talking with us today, and I hope you enjoyed getting to know Scott a little bit, and you'll come back next month to meet another person from Daiso. Thanks a lot, Scott.
Sure.